Before the Great Flood, the world existed in a vastly different state from what we know today. What happened in those ancient times? Why do so many cultures around the world share similar stories of a global catastrophe? The Bible provides us with a glimpse into this world, a time when humanity had strayed far from God's path, and corruption spread like wildfire. What led to the downfall of this world? What has been hidden from historical records? Was there something greater, something far more sinister, than what we've been told? These are the questions that have puzzled theologians, scholars, and historians for centuries. Genesis 6, verses 5 and 6 speaks of the corruption that had overtaken the world. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. But what caused this overwhelming corruption? Was it simply the pride and arrogance of humanity, or were other forces at play? The story of the fallen angels sheds light on what may have truly occurred. The Bible speaks of these beings, referred to as the sons of God, who descended to earth and mingled with human women, resulting in a race of giants known as the Nephilim. In Genesis 6, verse 4, it is written, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of man and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown." These Nephilim were no ordinary men. They were giants in stature and power, but they were also filled with knowledge imparted by the fallen angels. This knowledge, both mystical and dangerous, further corrupted humanity, leading to violence, immorality, and rebellion against God. As a result, God decided that the world needed to be cleansed, and the Great Flood was set in motion. The flood was not merely a natural disaster, it was a divine reset. It was an opportunity for God to restore order, removing the corruption that had overtaken the earth. Only Noah and his family, who remained righteous in God's eyes, were spared from the destruction that followed. The flood, as terrifying as it was, brought a new beginning, wiping away the old world and giving humanity a fresh start. The legacy of this lost world, however, remains shrouded in mystery, leaving us to ponder what knowledge was lost and what truly occurred before the flood. Have you ever stopped to consider how ancient knowledge might still influence our world today? What really happened to the original language of the first humans? If these questions have piqued your curiosity, stay with us. Don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next mysteries we unravel together. The forbidden knowledge imparted by the fallen angels had far-reaching consequences for the human race. These angels not only taught men the art of war, they revealed secrets that had been hidden from humanity, altering the course of history forever. This knowledge included the forging of weapons, the crafting of jewelry, and even the art of cosmetics. The Book of Enoch describes how Azazel, one of the fallen angels, taught men the art of war. In Enoch 8, verse 1, it says, "Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them." This knowledge was not merely about physical power, it also extended to the magical arts, including astrology, divination, and the occult. As the fallen angels shared these secrets, humanity began to stray further from divine wisdom. Instead of using these gifts for good, they were misused, creating more harm than good. The Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen angels and human women, were born with the strength of giants, and their very existence represented a distortion of God's creation. These beings were powerful and terrifying, but they also carried the burden of forbidden knowledge. The Nephilim were not merely giants in size, they were giants in influence, spreading corruption wherever they went. Their knowledge of the occult and warfare brought widespread chaos. Some accounts even suggest they engaged in cannibalism and other horrific practices, further spreading corruption throughout the earth. These creatures, though powerful, were not immune to God's judgment, and their destruction was one of the reasons the flood was brought to cleanse the earth. Genesis 6, verses 11 and 12, tells us, "Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. The teaching of forbidden arts, the union of angels and human women, and the creation of the Nephilim all contributed to this corruption. As a result, God's judgment was inevitable, and the flood came to restore order. As the waters of the flood rose, the world that had been tainted by the fallen angels and the Nephilim was swept away, but their legacy remained. The forbidden knowledge, magic, and practices introduced by these beings did not simply disappear with the flood. Instead, they were passed down through the generations, hidden in the shadows of history and resurfacing in later civilizations. These teachings became the foundation for many of the occult practices that continue to intrigue and mystify us today. Enoch, a righteous man who lived before the flood, prophesied about the coming judgment. In Jude 1, verses 14 and 15, it says, "Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about them. See, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone, and to convict all of them of all the ungodly acts they have committed in their ungodliness, and of all the defiant words ungodly sinners have spoken against him." This prophecy was not just about the flood, but it pointed to a final judgment that would come when the world once again strayed from God. The flood was a warning to humanity about the dangers of deviating from God's path. While Noah and his family were saved, the rest of the world perished, a stark reminder that sin leads to destruction. But the flood also symbolized mercy, offering the world a chance to start anew. Even after the flood, the knowledge given by the fallen angels remained a temptation, and humanity continued to grapple with the legacy of the ancient world. As the world progressed, the influence of this lost knowledge continued to shape civilizations, for better or for worse. The question remains, will humanity learn from the mistakes of the past, or will we fall into the same traps that led to the destruction of the world before the flood? The answers lie in our choices, and the legacy of the fallen angels and their teachings continues to echo through time. So, what do you think? Could the wisdom lost before the flood still have something to teach us? If you're as intrigued as we are by these ancient mysteries and want to continue exploring the depths of biblical history, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue this journey of discovery together. To conclude, I'd like to share a biblical passage with you. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. James 1, verse 5. May God bless you all with wisdom, understanding, and discernment so that you may live according to his teachings. Until next time, and may divine knowledge continue to illuminate your path.